Okay, so welcome everyone to this episode of ForageCraft. So, in the last episode, we finished up building all of the islands, texturing, lighting, and all of that fun stuff. In between then and now, I've just sort of generally put a couple, I think the total is 15 buildings, like marked. I've not like built them or anything. On certain islands here, and I want to just, like, before we get started with the building, I'm not going to do any time lapses because that is exhausting, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get them all done in one session. I might jump around and practice and stuff. Anyway, yeah, let's see. I want to show you what I've got, and then we'll jump between each as we go. And I'll do some more talking about what each is as we get to them. So on this island here, this is probably my favorite, at least in terms of like what I'd want to build with. I'm thinking of putting sort of like a large-ish castle on this island here. Let's see, I'm going to use Elytra because it's faster. I'm going to head over here. I'm thinking this is the furthest north island I'm going. I don't want to use any of those islands for now, because I may put something on them, but I'm not sure I want to put any buildings on them yet. But for here, I was thinking some sort of like cathedral or church ruin, like maybe sort of like embedded into the ground, sort of like a Viking house, but like very much a cathedral style build here, which I think would be fun. Let's see, we're heading over here now, and this one I was thinking would be conducive to a blacksmith building, probably with a little bit inside of the island. Maybe like a large forge and some lava going around, some generalized building, lots of stone, lots of metal, other things, maybe some copper tossed in there. Up here, because of the shape of this island, it's very nice. Like look at this. It is just insane, and I like this island a lot. It's very tall, and it would be very scenic, I think, to put a gigantic tall lookout tower ruin on top, even if it's like not super duper tall like as it would be if it was like fully built, but it would be like pretty tall, and I think it would just look really cool on that island. Yeah, and then over here I'm thinking of having some sort of like pottery place with like the new flower pots and all that stuff, and just sort of like general plants and maybe other things, like maybe just like a clay place, or I don't know. And here would be another one of a similar style to that, maybe like a shop to go along with that. Of course, some of the buildings would have been washed away in the river, just fallen completely apart. These would just be like the remains of some of the buildings that still exist around here. Let's see, we got that one done. So up here, let me see, I'm just trying to remember. Yes, I was thinking here I'd probably put some sort of like garden or vineyard, possibly both there and up here, which would be very cool when you use the berries, glow berries, all that fun stuff, and I think it would look cool. Let's see, over here I wanted to put a farm and a windmill. I think that would look cool as well. Like nearby that, just like a couple little like some steps going with like some farm plots, I guess is the best way to say it. Here, I was thinking maybe some sort of like airship dock, because, yeah, I'm kind of going for that sort of vibe. I'm not exactly sure right now. Of course I'm gonna merge in the ice bridge properly with some supports and all that stuff and just sort of finish that off. Here I was thinking sort of like another large-ish tower, but I was thinking of maybe turning it into some sort of parkour challenge, which would be cool. And here, I was thinking of making like a very simple farmhouse, maybe with some sort of rundown pen and maybe a couple animals when we get it on the server. We'll get some cows or something, put them there, chickens maybe. And then over here would be another farmhouse, possibly with a mill, like either a windmill or water mill, maybe with some sort of waterfall coming out of here, which could be cool. Anyway, or some sort of like, I know we don't have create mod on this server, so I may end up doing some sort of like partial fake gear system with a water mill, because that's what I could do, I guess. And then, of course, here we have to do tall tower on top of this. Like, why would you not want to put a gigantic tall tower on top of that? Like, just like really tall. And I think this is the last one, and another tower just sort of generalized here. I was thinking which could be very fun. And yeah, that's basically my thoughts. And then I may end up putting one or two other buildings, just sort of like a general like little house ruin or something, on some of the other spaces that are just like either too small or just didn't really feel it, just around. And of course, one or two things, like on the server, I like to build in a grid pattern, right? I like to build with everything connected on the same grid, like every 3x3. So every 3 blocks, I like to put that down and just sort of use that as a framed reference. So like if I have a corner or something, we can just very easily put any blocks like in that and just sort of use that as a thing. It helps with spacing and everything else. It's very nice to do. At least that's what I've found when I'm building things. And I'm not planning on doing that with these because these islands are not built on that grid at the moment. I want to figure out, I want to just build to the island's shape, and because yeah. And I also am not planning on really making them, I guess, accurate to the player. Like, they're going to be ruins, of course, and they're going to be walk-inable, of course, but they may not be, like, accurately sized, if that makes sense. Like, some of the rooms may feel way too small. Like, it might just be like a 2-block tall hallway or something, a 4-block room. Like, you know, like just something like this in the houses, just because I want to keep the scale small so the buildings don't feel insanely big on these islands. Like, I want the buildings themselves to feel pretty small on the island so that they don't, like, dwarf the islands and make it feel all goofy. I want to make sure the whole build itself pulls itself together well and just communicates everything that I want to with it. And yeah, we're not going to be keeping proper proportion or anything, and besides, the grid is mainly for other builds that are a little more functional instead of just, like, literally for looks like these are, which is part of the fun of building in Minecraft. This is just for looks, but part of the fun is also making something that looks good and is also does something, right? Like, you know, you want to build a gigantic raid farm that looks cool, or like with a gigantic storm, or I don't know, some big ship in the ocean above a guardian farm or something like that. Anyway, I think I want to start with, I don't want to start with a castle. I will pick one and figure out what I want. I got a bunch of reference just sort of for like block palette and other things. A block palette specific like style. There's not too much good reference for ruins. At least in Minecraft builds. I'm going to be looking up some real world reference too, I think, and we'll figure out what I want to start with and move on from there, and we'll bring you guys back when I have the first one done, just sort of like once I get my groove in there and figure out what I want to do with it, you know. We're going to be jumping back into the talky content instead of the montagey content, though I may end up doing some montages at some point. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Catch you guys in the next clip. Okay, so we're back, and I think I figured out what, so I decided to start with the farmhouse on this far end, because that would be a pretty simple way to just sort of practice with the build palette and just sort of go with it. After looking at the references, I have come up with a sort of like generalized idea for what I want to go with for these, I think. So the primary, like when I was building, I just basically framed it all out in andesite, because andesite has all the different variants and it allows me to see the basic shape. And then I put in the roof, I put in the planters around, and then I just sort of went around and decorated the planters and textured it all and everything. So of course we're limited by what sort of stairs and slabs we have in the game, because we don't have coral slabs, we don't have tough stairs and slabs yet. Next update, hopefully, I believe we should be getting them next update, if I'm remembering correctly. So basically, I brought in a bunch of texture from mossy, stone, bricks, cobblestone, mossy cobble, tough, andesite. I left some of the andesite in there, and I left some of the coral in there. And I decided to decorate the floor in here with a bit of the green. I brought the greenery in, even though it's not technically right. It just sort of felt like a little bit of like dirt and wall debris fell in here and just sort of made like a pile. A couple piles in here, which I think looks pretty nice. I put some other debris and litter around, like barrels and slabs and that sort of thing. There used to be a second floor, but it's been very much fallen apart. The roof has fallen in on itself, and it's just, so the entire thing is fallen apart. The windows are in pieces, some aren't even here, and yeah, and I left some of the debris outside as well. I haven't done any of the trees or external plants yet, and that's going to be for next episode, I think. We're just going to be working on the structures here first, and then we'll put the main trees and plants around. In the planters, I went with the same build palette with the slabs and everything, but I used a mixture of the different types of dirt, the dirt, coarse dirt, and the rooted dirt, as well as the muddy mangrove roots and normal mangrove roots, and just sort of slabs to put in some sort of like puddles to get hydration buffed to whatever the couple plant spots in here that I have. I put in a couple paths as well, which is fun. And over here I put in a few of these, the melon and pumpkins. This used to be a lift, but it very much decayed and fell off, so I just left the couple things here. At least it would have been a lift had it been working. So like, it was sort of like an elevator thing that brought down to the water surface, because I didn't want to build a staircase down through or anything. And I did basically the same thing over here with carrots and wheat scattered throughout, and more of the same ground things. And I think I like this so far, and I'm looking forward to moving forward to the next area, which I have yet to pick, and I'm going to just fly around and then decide which one, and I'll bring you guys back when I have. And we're back with another section. I decided to jump to the vineyard, because that was probably the most similar to the last one we did, just to get a little more of it under my feet. This one's a little bit less broken down, as you may tell. Like, the roof's a little more there, the walls are a little more there. This one's slightly different in how it's laid out, with everything else. It's got, I think looks pretty nice with the holes in the ceiling. And we got basically 3 areas for vineyards. So we got berries that can grow here and around and everything else. Once again, I'm not spreading the plants. Every single time I go to record, yeah, whatever. And then up here we have a slightly larger one in a different orientation. We got a bunch of berries and stuff going in here, as well as a bunch of little like wooden things coming around. And this here is supposed to be sort of like, what do you call it? Like a stomping jar, I guess, is the best way to describe it. Like when people make wine and other like juices, they put the berries in a pit and then they stomp on them. Like, they just step on them and crush them into juice. Yeah, I don't know why people drink it, if that's still or what they used to do. It's weird and unhygienic, but yeah, I figured it would be a good detail to have here. And then also, we go down a little bit, and I put sort of like a partially complete staircase, and I need to put some debris down here. That's what I forgot. I forgot to put debris down there, and I need to put a little light source there, I think. Just to make sure we don't get any spawns when yeah, whatever. Figured out. But yeah, that's basically what we got here, and we're going to do the same thing again. I'm going to pick a spot, work on it, and bring you guys back and show you what I got. Okay, and we're back again. So I jumped over to the windmill house, and I think this turned out relatively well. So for the windmill house, I decided to, the windmill / farm, I decided to go with 3 areas of farmland in sort of like the same tiered-ish garden that I had going. These ones sort of crumbled a little more going down the hill, because it was just getting a little too tall to just lead them. And it was a little weird. I put some debris in and among the fields, and they're going to grow in by themselves because I didn't bother bone mealing them this time. Hoping to get some trees, and I'm probably going to get rid of some of this debris. It just seems like a little much as compared to some of the others, which I think looks nice, and I added in the debris down there. And the the house, the windmill house itself, is sort of like a two-story thing. Got the main walkway area in here. There may have been doors here at one point, and walls and stuff. And we got the second floor up top, around, and it just sort of exists, and you can get in and out that way. And we got the windmill itself attached here, falling apart and crumbling off of that, and it's just sort of chilling. I'm pretty sure the clouds go this way, but I don't know because I turned weather off and I turned daylight cycle off. But anyway, same build palette, everything else, very fun. I think it looks very nice, crumbled apart. It looks pretty decent, I think. They did a pretty good job with the ruins here, and I think they're coming together pretty well. And I think I'm getting into sort of a groove to get the rest of these done. And I will pick the next one and bring you guys back when we have that one finished. Okay, so we're back, and I decided to work on the sort of airship dock thing that I had figured out. This structure slightly annoys me because it's actually an even block wide as compared to every other structure I've ever built, which is odd. Like an odd number of blocks, but whatever. We're ignoring that fact. Basically what I did here is built up a bunch of ringed supports with a couple of long logs. I mixed in dark oak and spruce to give it a little bit more texture. To spread it out now, you can tell from the ends, and we got in each of the rings that basically the ship would land here, and there would be like some sort of wooden dock or support or something on either side, which is very much melted off at this point in the decay. And the structure itself has become very moss covered and just garbage, and like lots of things going on here with the wooden debris underneath. There may be a couple of trees sprouting out from here eventually, but that's not currently in the plans. I may put some other one up here, but I'm not sure at the moment. We'll see. But I guess we're gonna do the same thing as last time, and we're gonna jump to the end of the next clip. And we're back again with the next tower. Yeah, I decided to go for one of the smaller towers, just to sort of like try out one of the other types of buildings rather than just like a house. I decided to start with the small one. I think it looks pretty good. I guess if it were going to have been real, the staircase, well, it would probably go up a little bit more with a wooden top, a little higher up. Sort of like the stone foundation. Might have been something outside, I don't know. I'm gonna put trees later. Yada yada yada. I'll pick the next one, and yeah. Oh, and one other thing about this, I threw in a couple of mossy stone and stone brick stairs just to sort of mix it up. It would have been a little bit weird because there are a lot more stairs in this build as compared to the others, so I just wanted a little more variety than just cobble and mossy cobble. And yeah, that's basically what we got here. I think it looks pretty good. It is not exactly a simple shape, but I wouldn't consider it a super complicated shape to begin with. I think it looks pretty good, all in all. And yeah, I guess we're gonna pick the next one and jump there, and I will catch you guys in a second. And we're back with another build. So I decided to go with the sort of like cathedral type build. I kind of went with a little bit of Viking house inspiration, at least for the roof. On the outside, it kind of reminds me a little bit of one of the jungle temples that you find, yeah, Minecraft, you know. But that's kind of what I'm getting, but I think it looks a little nicer than one of the default jungle temples. I put some holes in the roof and covered it in moss and stuff. It looks very weird on the map, but yeah, look at that, that looks so weird. I also put some debris around the outside, crumbled off this corner, and inside I put in some more rubble and some wooden things. I put some floating in the water, and of course there'd be plants. Though because the bottom of that is stairs and slabs, I couldn't put any seagrass or kelp in there, which is unfortunate, but I think it looks pretty good. I'm pretty sure it's spawn proof, but I'm I'm not sure 100% on that. I might have to move some lights around later on. But I especially like how this back wall looks, just because it's in shadow, and there's no spawnable places here, because it's not a full block because there's stairs. But yeah, that would be the We got lots of things going on here, and I think it looks pretty nice. Some popped out windows as well, and yeah, it took a while to build this one. Probably because it's quite a bit larger, but anyway. I guess it's sort of like a wishing well pool, I guess, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I think it looks pretty nice. Yeah, and I guess we're gonna move on to the next section. Catch you then. Okay, and we are back. Sorry my voice might sound a little rough. My throat's just a little sore. But I decided to go with a little bit of a less destroyed tower on top of this. I figured that the other ones being a little closer to the water might get a little more fallen apart, and besides, this is mostly stone. So I figured being up here away from the water blast, it wouldn't get as much damage. And yeah, we got basically that and a bunch of debris around and inside. All that stuff. I have a ladder going up because the spiral staircase was just a little too big for my liking. I've got a bunch of holes in the floor. And up top here, we have a bunch of campfires with hay bales underneath, which, in case you didn't know, hay bales extend the reach of the smoke particles by like a significant amount so that they go farther, which just helps with the height of the whole thing, and I think it works pretty well. And as for this tower's functionality, I think it works pretty well as a lookout tower up top here, while still maintaining a relatively well-hidden height from the water surface, which, if we're down here in a boat or something, you can kind of see it, but it's like, if there were trees there, you might miss it. So, yeah, once we add trees in, that should help a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm going to work on building a bunch of small-ish houses and farms on this island and that island there, and just bring you guys back when I have that complete. So I'll catch you guys in a second. And we are back after I finished building up all basically the last, like, simple houses, I think. We got a few more builds I would like to do, and a couple that I might end up doing. But as of right now, we got 3 houses and 3 little plots on these. So, fun fact I found out while I was working. Apparently, I don't know if it's over here, you can place flowers, tall grass, ferns, pretty much anything that could be placed on dirt or moss onto farmland. I did not know this. Now I do. I feel very, like, look at this. You could place this on here, like, right away. Like, look. Like, I did not know this. I am very excited and happy to have now know this, and that's very fun. Put a bunch of the texture and standard texturing and debris everywhere around these. We got a lone house over here. This would be where I would live, away from everyone else and all their problems. And we got a little bit of water pooling up here because of the shape of it. Yeah. And up here we have the mill house, which I think, like, normally in a mill house, you have the mill attached to a water wheel above or a windmill, and it's like coming in from above. Being this how it is, I did not want to make a windmill, and there's no water up nearby, so it basically would have connected to a non-existent water wheel down below through the ground, right? Which is why there's no pillar above it, so it, like, you could take it off the top just like a slide-on thing, right? Like a ring around a pole. If you needed to clean the thing, and it'd be fairly easy to disassemble and everything. Though the piping itself for the energy would not be very easy to take care of. And yeah, so we got the millstone here. This used to be a window and all that fun stuff. More of the moss and lichen on the roof. Lots of debris. 4 more fields. And another slightly larger house over here of a similar style. And I have been kind of putting in some of this on the floors in each, if you may have noticed, and the floors used to be all wood, and this is just sort of like to represent moss and debris falling in. I would have used some gravel, but I don't like using gravel or any of the blocks that have gravity. It's just, for some reason, I'm just, like, don't like using them for some reason. It's very weird. But anyway, lots of holes in the roof. I think they look pretty nice, and having the holes in the roof actually makes them feel quite dynamic and open. And I'm sure once the trees that I'm planning on building next episode are in here, they will look incredibly nice. And I think next I want to finish off this area and then move that way to do those with this last one over here. I think we're going to leave that as forest, I think. We're going to put the large parkour tower here. I'm going to build up the tower and then the parkour, and then I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it on video, but I'm going to at least try once. I'm going to make sure all the jumps are doable, but I'm not going to say that the tower is itself easy. So we're going to see how it goes, and I'll bring you guys back when it's done. Okay, and we are back with the tower. I have tested each jump is possible. I'm just not going to attempt the parkour because I am not confident in my abilities. I am horrible at parkour. Anyway, we got basically what we got here is it's a small-ish tower with the moss and everything going up and around with all the texture, the debris and the falling in the floor. Basically, the parkour is to jump from the gold with the carpet all the way up to the roof, basically. Get all the way up and around. I put carpet on each just in case they weren't spawn-proof. Nothing hurts worse than attempting parkour and then getting shot by a skeleton. And then you get up here. I didn't want to put one. I was thinking about putting one like here on top, but it just didn't feel right. Another with the hay bales and the campfires and fun and everything else. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. This took quite a while to do with all the texturing. My gosh, and it looks pretty good from the ice bridge too. Like, it looks a lot more solid from down here than it does from up there, and it just feels very airy up there. I think it looks pretty nice. And then you can, using the parkour or elytra, you can get into these areas. And I think it works pretty well, and looks pretty nice. All in all, I'm happy with this tower, and I think it's time to move on to the next structure. We're leaving that. I don't want to put something there. What's the next? We're not doing the castle yet. I want to finish with the castle, I think. So we got the blacksmith on there, and the pottery shop there, and then this here, and maybe one or two houses, like there, and maybe there. I'm not sure. I'm leaning towards pottery shop next. So, I will catch you guys when the pottery shop is completed. Okay, and we are back. We have finished building the two houses as well as one additional just boring house. We have the two, one is sort of like a storage room, and the other one is sort of like a clay place. Let's see, I think I want to put in one or two of these around here. Just for the sake of that being a thing. Okay, there we go. Now this is done. We got the texturing, all the debris and everything. I decided to toss in a bunch of pots and flower pots. I could probably put some plants in some of these, because that would make sense logically, though I think I'm going to wait until I put the other, like, foliage around just so I can make sure it's themed properly, because I'm not exactly sure what sort of flowers I want around here. But anyway, we got a whole bunch of blank pots and flower pots and a pile of clay and terracotta over here in this corner, basically representing all of the failed or broken or whatever junk pots in the made house over here. And then over here we have sort of like a smaller platform and sort of like a storage shed with a bunch of flower pots and pots existing around here. I think it's annoying that the pots disappear at distance while the smaller ones don't. It's kind of annoying to me. Like, why these don't even have an inventory? Why are they considered block entities? But anyway, yeah, more of that. Simple, pretty simple comparatively. And we have another one over here. Just a generalized house with a hole in the roof and all that fun stuff going on. And we got basically 3 more. I think I'm pretty much happy with the amount of houses I have going on. And we got basically 3 more things to do. We got the castle itself, the tall tower thingy here, and the blacksmith. And I think I want to jump to the blacksmith next. And then we'll do the 2 big ones to end off the episode, or right at the end. So stay tuned for them, and I guess I will catch you guys in a second when we have the blacksmith constructed. Okay, and we are back now that we have finished building up the rest of the blacksmith area. Pretty much done with that. The only thing left is the plants, I guess. And I also, in between that, I'm going to show you guys that in a minute, but I did some of the cleanup with the ice bridge and just sort of like connecting it to the ground / where it's going to keep going into the water and to the islands, just sort of making it look all nice and pretty and keep going and stuff. And yeah, all fun times. Yeah, lots of ice bridgey things. And yeah, anyway, back to the blacksmith. I decided to have 4 parentheses buildings here. We have 1 main house up here at the top, because who wouldn't want to live at the top of a nice hill like this with an awesome view of the ocean? Then we have sort of like a fallen apart platform that just sort of crumbled and fell and is falling apart, sort of like a storage or work area. Lots of things going on, lots of garbage, lots of the mixture of blocks for the texturing. We have a main, like, forging style build, which has, like, sort of like this little lava area for molten metal, a forging thing, I don't know, turning into obsidian. Lots of anvils and stuff. I guess I could probably put some things in there, but I think I like how it is with the debris there, as is. I decided to leave this hole, because, like, if there was some sort of fire, it probably would have burned out part of the roof there. And then this one down here, which I guess is sort of like a storage house, with lots of things inside for like extra anvils and barrels and things to put the stuff made into this place and that probably, for things, you know, as one does when you're blacksmithing. You need to have somewhere to put everything that you make and store things that you would turn into things that you would make. Anyway, I think we're going to jump to the second to last thing here, and we're going to do this large-ish tower, the lookout tower, and I'm going to be spending probably quite a bit of time trying to figure out how to make it look nice. I'm thinking like 1, 2, 3 tower sort of thing. We'll see how it turns out, and I'll bring you guys back when I've finished it. And we are back. We have finished up building the tower, which is very fun. I think it turned out pretty well. I have decided to dub this the egg tower. I decided to mix in a little bit of deep slate into the build itself with the andesite as the thing. So the foundation I wanted to be pretty mossy, but I didn't want to take the moss too far up the build. I figured I wanted it to be relatively tall, and in fact the egg is currently at cloud cover, which is very fun. I did make sure that the couple blocks that were spawnable had, like all the blocks are either stairs, walls, slabs, or have pressure plates on them when they're not lit up, just because I don't want to have to deal with any mob spawns, and it just felt right to do that, even though it is technically a blackstone pressure plate, not a deep slate pressure plate, because you don't have deep slate pressure plates. Yeah, just polished blackstone. That's the closest we have. And the rest, stairs, slabs, or pressure plates on top of them, which is very fun. I decided to put a little bit of light on the outside of these little balls, because I didn't want to have to put stairs or pressure plates all over them, because that would have been a bit much, and I think it looks okay with them lit up. And then coming down a little further, we get a little more of the greenery and coming down into the main area. I didn't put any really interior aside, because I just cleaned up the structure, because technically there would be no interior because it's fallen apart. There would have been a floor here and stairs and stuff, but it's just all fallen out of the inside of the stone structure, and it's all fun like that. And we got a whole bunch of debris all around and all that stuff. Same with these towers. Like, this is basically just supposed to be like a lookout tower, with all that fun stuff going on, and both of them are pretty much symmetrical aside from some texturing. Lots of that going on, and I think it looks pretty good, all in all. It's not exactly what I was going for, even though I wasn't really using a reference, but I think it turned out pretty well all the same. I think it worked, and I like it very much. And now it is finally time to do the last one, the castle on this central island over here. Now, I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with the castle. Like, how big I want to make it, how much of it I want to actually have crumbling, etc., etc. But I will figure it out and bring you guys back when I have finished building it and have it all, finalized. So I'll catch you guys in a second. And we are done with the castle, which is the last part of this video. I'm super happy with this overall. It's not an insanely impressive castle, and to be honest, it's honestly more of a mansion thing with a cool tower than a castle. But I think it still turned out pretty well, with the little battlements that you would be able to come out here and snipe at people that are coming up on the only viable land entrance, as well as a spy tower, which you might have been able to stand up here at one point and shoot at things in the air and look around and see stuff. And lots of space. I probably should have put in some sort of, at least some remnants of windows on some of these areas, but I just didn't want to. I mean, they probably would have made sense, but I didn't want to mess up the feel and vibe that I have going on with the ruins here. The glass is just falling apart and turned into rubble, and all the wood is decaying and falling apart. And also, because this one had a bit more that I didn't want to bother with the greenery, I brought up a bunch of stone, and unfortunately, for some reason, they still haven't added, wall versions of just plain old stone, which would be so nice. I mixed in some stone bricks where I had the walls, just to make sure it wasn't, pure andesite, as it would have just been weird. And also, I made sure that there were no spawnable blocks in any of the dark areas, just so that we wouldn't have to deal with any of that issue. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with this, and I think it turned out pretty nice, all in all. Yeah, and I think I missed some walls. Okay, I will fix that, and then in between episodes. But next episode, we will be doing the last part of this mega build. We will be covering these islands with the greenery that will bring them to life. The trees, bushes, flowers, grass, all that fun stuff. Unfortunately, we are in a desert biome at the moment, and I'm not changing that because I can't change that on the server, and it's just going to be an issue. That means there are limited blocks that I can use for that, because a lot of the, at least the leaf type, let's see, I'll show you. Mangrove leaves, dark oak leaves, acacia leaves. They turn out like that. So there are really only 2 types of leaves, 3 types of leaves that I could, in theory, use here. We got the cherry leaves, we got the azalea leaves, and we have spruce leaves. I'm going to be using spruce leaves because I just like spruce leaves, and it's going to be a lot nicer to do that way. And I'm hoping, so there are a few islands, so yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm going to build the trees out of that, and hopefully we'll get some good montages maybe out of it. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do that. Well, I think I'll maybe try a couple things and see how it goes. But being that these islands are the way they are, and being that they are where they are, these islands specifically over here by my base, over there, I'm not sure I want to build anything on here, but I'm not going to rule out the possibility of putting something here eventually. So for the sake of completion and making sure that I get them at least to a point that I can be happy with them, I'm going to cover them in trees and plants. And if I decide to build something on or in them later on, I can always cut the trees down and move them somewhere else, like a block over or something. But I just want to have them like to a point that I can be happy with them. And also, I'm not planning on building these trees. These trees are a pain to build. So I may put one or two or five on this island only, because this is the only island that's like actually next to them. But I'm not gonna say that they are gonna be all over any of these. And I actually intend on using a different kind of tree for this area entirely, which is hopefully going to be a lot easier to build. And I also intend on using the mod Axiom to copy and paste the trees in, just so I don't have to spend a ton of time building each and every tree. In this, I just have to do that on the server itself when I get around to it. But, yeah, it'll just help speed up the process, make sure all my schematics are finished, finalized, so I can then do the building and all that stuff and get them ported over. But all in all, I am pretty happy with what we got done this episode. All of these houses and farmlands and other buildings and stuff. I think it turned out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it, and I think, yeah, I'm looking forward to having these islands finished, and then building the river on the server and like getting them all watered, fill in the river and all that fun stuff. I'm really happy with this tower, and I think it turned out pretty nice. And I'm looking forward to moving on to the next project, whichever one that is. I still haven't picked. But anyway, I guess I'm going to land on the tower if I can. Let's see, I should be good enough. Yes. Okay, so if you guys enjoyed watching me learn kind of how to build these ruins, and enjoyed looking at the ruins, and want to see what other things I'm going to be building in the future, please feel inclined to subscribe and support the channel, as it does help significantly, and also leave a like and subscribe, comments, all that fun stuff that goes along with watching videos. I hope to see you guys in the next episode, as well as in previous and future series that will be coming out on this channel. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.